Alrighty, welcome ladies and gentlemen. Let me know if you guys can all hear me, but we should be live and going. We've made it. The final week of Season 3. This is where it all comes down. The last, for all the marbles. This is where legends are made. We've got some important matches today. I think honestly 6 or 7 matches, or 5 or 6 matches that depend on playoff and relegation spots. So we got 2 minutes here. Gotta watch out for navy, tan, yellow, goldenrod, cerulean. And then for relegation, coral, cyan, purple, arctic, honestly green, blue, orange. Actually, orange is probably safe, but... So it's, unfortunately we don't have any interesting matches for the league winner. That's going to be Teal, whether he wins or loses. But... yeah, playoffs and relegation have some interesting possibilities that can happen. So we'll have to keep our eyes peeled for that. Cyan versus yellow is not our first match. First match will be green and hot pink. This match, I don't think this match actually matters. I think hot pink has it locked up and green is guaranteed out. So we've got kind of a warm-up match, I guess, here. No blood after this one. Alright, 5 p.m. Let's kick this off. Alrighty. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the final week of Season 3 regular season. This week we'll decide what squares go to playoffs, what squares get relegated, and what squares have a forgettable season. So, for today's week, we've got domains coming. I don't think I've done domains in this league this season yet, so new gimmick for this season. And so for those who don't know, domains are basically if they pick up a same colored power up as their own, it's the same. If the power up color matches the square color, it activates a domain where they are invincible. One kind of interesting tweak I did is the destroy power up that normally destroys all the power ups is actually going to be that'll also destroy the domains. So you'll see once it gets in there, those lighter red power ups will destroy the domains as well. So that being said, let's kick off the biggest week of these squares' careers. Leading the charge, we've got green versus hot pink. This match actually doesn't matter for anything. It's really just maybe for MVP race or things of that nature, but maybe all-stars. But so kind of a quick warm-up match for you. So let's get this one out of the way quick. Let's get started. Green takes home the victory. Green saving himself from relegation. Honestly, Green had an unbelievable second half of the season. Just 1 or 2 losses short of playoffs, but he survives relegation. So Green, congratulations, you won't be getting relegated. Our next match of the night, we've got Navy and Olive. So this is a big match. Olive wants to win to guarantee playoffs. Navy wants to win to give them a chance at playoffs. I think a win guarantees Navy playoffs because you have a tie. But let's kick this off. Olive and Navy. Let's begin. And ladies and gentlemen, with a win, Navy has passed Olive on the standings. Navy, I think, is guaranteed playoffs. So, Navy, big win. Olive still has a relatively good chance at playoffs. This next match will actually be important for that, but not guaranteed. Now we've got Purple and Tan. Tan fighting for playoffs, Purple fighting for relegation. Let's begin. And asserting his dominance, tan defeats purple. I think this means purple will be moving to the relegation match. Yeah, 7. Yeah, purple will be in relegation danger. Tan, I think that almost guarantees Tan's playoff chances, but we'll have to see what happens. I think, actually, that almost eliminates yellow and goldenrod. I think their only hope now is to beat indigo and olive in power-ups, so we're kind of an interesting race here. Our next match is teal versus orange. This match quite literally does not matter, as orange is not going to be in relegation and teal is not going to be knocked out of playoffs, so let's just get this over with. And Teal steals another victory at the buzzer. I think what I'm going to do is make a Teal highlight reel because the wins this season from Teal have been unbelievable. Like, it's just, he's won so many matches at the buzzer. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the 5, that darn seal. He is, Emerald did have quite the comeback from last season, going from bottom of the league to playoffs. So thank you for the 5. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Teal, your MVP of this season. I mean, like, what are you gonna do? 16-4 is unbelievable. That being said, let's kick off a huge next match. Actually, we got yellow versus cyan. So yellow needs to win to have a chance. Cyan needs to win to stay out of relegation. Now, cyan could still lose and not be in relegation, but big match. Wins control your own destiny. So let's begin. And fighting to stay alive, yellow just could not pull it out in the end. Cyan coming up with a big win, dodging relegation for, I believe, the first time in Square League history. Yeah, unfortunate for yellow. Misses playoffs, so definitely a disappointing season for last year's MVP, but not in relegation, so there's still next year for yellow. Cyan also will be back. Let's move on to our next matchup tonight. We've got Goldenrod and Indigo. This is a huge match. I think with the losses and everything, Goldenrod and Indigo both control their own destiny. So let's kick this off. And with that, Goldenrod takes home the victory. Now, keep in mind, for those who are following the stats, I'm going to actually go through and do a year-end review on the numbers to make sure there's nothing wrong with my automation. So this doesn't guarantee Goldenrod's in playoffs, but you'd rather be in now before the review than not. So just a heads up that this isn't 100% guaranteed, but huge win for Goldenrod. For those who remember, Goldenrod just barely missed playoffs last season, so for him to have a chance to get in this season is big. Goldenrod did not want to be denied. Moving on to our next match of the night, we've got kind of an uneventful one. We've got Diamond and Coral. Technically, Coral could fall into relegation danger here with a loss and then a couple other square wins, but it's not super important, so let's get this going. And with a dominating victory, Diamond defeats Coral. Diamond still in relegation. Doesn't really matter. Coral now in danger of possibly going into relegation, but still not the worst position to be in. So let's move on to our next match. We've got Red versus Blue. Another similar situation where Red is guaranteed playoffs. Blue can still make relegation, so got to be careful, but not a super impactful match. So let's kick this off. And Red caps off a really good season with the dominating win over Blue. Blue in relegation danger now, potentially. Red guaranteed second place in the league. I mean, if it wasn't for Teal's record-breaking season, this was actually the best season of Red's career. So Red could get hot in the playoffs. There's definitely a chance. So let's keep our eyes open in the playoffs for this one. Congratulations to Red. Now, moving on to our last match of the night. Well, sorry, not last match. Second to last match of the night. Arguably the most important match of the night. Crimson versus Arctic. Arctic is trying to get out of relegation. Crimson's just done for. Crimson's just trying not to finish last. But Arctic trying to make it out of relegation. So let's kick it off. And there you have it. Crimson becomes the worst square this season. Arctic with a big win to try and keep himself out of relegation, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that. The relegation race is really interesting now that I think we have like 3 squares at 8 and 12, so interesting race right now. But Crimson, yikes. Terrible fall-off season. Finally, rounding up the last match of the regular season, we've got Emerald and Cerulean. Now, unfortunately, I think Cerulean is eliminated because there's already 3 squares at 11 wins. So Cerulean is gone, unfortunately. Emerald actually trying to take second place in this league versus Red. So this is actually kind of an interesting race for second, I guess. So let's kick this off. And there you have it. Emerald takes home the victory over Cerulean, tying Reds 13-7. What a comeback season from Emerald this year. I mean, pretty impressive pretty impressive comeback. Emerald last year, I don't remember exactly what I think Emerald was. Second to last. If I'm thinking correctly about that, I think Emerald was second to last. But as that darn Teal said, it was an incredible comeback performance to finish top of the league, basically, behind Teal or Red, depending on damage done. And there you have it. That is the end of Season 3's regular season. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. The last thing I'll say here is what I'm going to do. So kind of next steps. I'll take this weekend. I'm going to kind of go over all the stats and everything. Get new colored squares. Get everything set up for playoffs. Get ready for like the award show and everything. And then we'll do all that. So there'll be no stream this weekend. But next weekend, so the weekend after this will be the finals, like the playoffs plus rookie tournament plus award show. So 2 weeks from now, I'm going to go through, I'm going to verify damage and wall bounce and all that stuff, make sure all the stats are right, make sure my automation caught all of it, and then I'll come out with the final list of playoff squares and relegation squares. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope people have a wonderful week and then weekend. No stream next weekend, but the weekend after, I will see you there. Get excited for the for playoffs of season 3. Thank you, everyone. Peace.